Hello everyone! One of the tools that we will be using this semester is called CODON Learning. Okay? And it's a platform that was developed basically by scientists, by instructors, for students to really learn STEM well. So it's considered an evidence-based platform, and it's got a lot of really great tools to support your learning, as well as a lot of detail on the content, so that you'll be able to thrive in courses later on in your career. So I'd like to show you just the basics of how that system works and where to find more information about it so that you can complete your assignments. Okay? For this class, you'll see a section called CODON Learning if you go to Content on the folio page and then scroll down to CODON Learning. Okay? As we go, you'll also see the links to the CODON Learning assignments for each module embedded in each section as you go. So you don't always have to go down here to this CODON Learning link, but it will always get you to the right place if you do. I have a set of orientation slides embedded here in the intro page for this section. And as you can see, I've highlighted that there are really kind of three different types of items that you'll accomplish on CODON Learning. There's readiness readings, there's the module quizzes or homeworks, and then there are the study paths. Okay. Well, what I would recommend is that you go through this slideshow at your own pace so you can review the purpose of CODON Learning and how to access it. If you click here on the little three-dot menu, you'll be able to enter full screen and view all of the details throughout. Okay. In particular, I'd like to highlight this section about the difference that CODON Learning makes, because that's seen across all different types of students. Okay? Whether you are a student coming into a course like this very well prepared, or a student who maybe needs a little extra support to get through a college level biology course, CODON Learning improves your performance. Okay? Actually doing the work, the readings, the study paths, the questions in CODON Learning made a big difference between students that did and didn't. So you'll note that these different bars, the different categories in this data, which was collected from real students, are based on how they initially performed. Okay? And you can see improvement both from low performing students before and after using the CODON Learning system, and for students who were already high performing, also improved if they used the CODON Learning study paths. So it's a very useful system, and it's something that I have customized for this class. It's not, all default options used for everybody. There is a lot of customization that I've provided as well, including those study paths themselves. One thing that I've also already mentioned in the course orientation is accessing CODON Learning. Okay, your best option is to purchase it directly from CODON, going through the course access button on the page. Okay, so once you click this link where it says access CODON Learning here, it will take you to the CODON Learning page, and you'll be able to go through that process. Okay. Now, if you don't want to purchase it yet, or if you need to use financial aid for CODON Learning and your other course materials, go by the bookstore and they can let you purchase the CODON Learning access key there using your financial aid resources. Regardless, you have a couple of weeks to sort that out. So there's 3 weeks, 21 days from the first time you access the course in order to figure out how you can best access this software. It's not particularly expensive. The cost this semester is, I believe, $49. Now, if we go ahead and look into CODON Learning platform itself, okay, you'll see it organized by class day, which for this course is weekly modules. Okay, and you have the learning objectives themselves for each section in the module. And then you have the assignments that are associated with those learning objectives for you to do. Okay? You'll always have 3 things. You're going to have a readiness reading, which is the textbook. Okay? And there are questions and activities and interactives embedded in that readiness reading for the module. Okay? You'll then also have the homework or quiz assignment that you'll have to complete by the end of the week that is more designed to test whether or not you learned the material at first. Okay. Then there are also the study paths. Okay. You won't have a study path every week. These are built from multiple modules leading up to each exam. Okay, so you can see that this first study path here that's highlighted is going to have a practice test and practice questions that will cover modules 1 through 4.4, which is what's included on the first exam. One thing I'd like to highlight is that sometimes you will see materials that have been created by other instructors in what I'm providing to you. That's because several of us are working together to put together a good structure and good modules for this course across multiple class sections. So occasionally you do get something such as this video here recorded by Dr. Deshane Peters. You might have other videos or slides or questions that are created by me versus her or versus another instructor and not even know it. Sometimes it's obvious though, like this video that Dr. DP recorded. This is an example of some of the content that's in the first module about themes of biology for this course. And you can see here's one of the interactives where you're connecting different pieces of information to their definitions. Okay. And here is an example from Module 2 that is more typical of the content that you'll see, where it's like a mini version of the textbook, really focused in on the key terms and messages for this course. Right? Still interactives, lots of opportunities to review what you've learned about the information, in this case about atoms. Okay? And then here at the bottom is an example of some of the reflective or metacognitive activities that we've included in this as well. Because thinking about how you learn best and how you dealt with a particular topic is a really effective way to learn better in the future. Okay? So here's an example. That was a lot of new information about atoms, molecules, and covalent bonds. Take a moment to reflect on what you just learned. Do you have any lingering questions? Does anything feel confusing? Okay. So this gives you an opportunity to write whatever you want in this reflective bit of the assignment. These will vary, and they're not going to be on every single piece in the course, but in particular with things where there might be a lot of new content or particularly confusing points or something that I really want you to think on, there will be this type of opportunity. Okay, I can see these, so if you want to put something in that's specifically asking me a question, that's fine, but just be aware that I might not get to that right away since it's embedded in the assignment. So feel free to, write something out here, and then as you're submitting it, if you feel like it's really a question you want to bring to me, then go to email or stop by office hours and, come visit me in my scheduled student hours to ask that question as well. Here's an example of what the questions in the homework assignments might look like. So you can go in and answer the question itself, and then you can get immediate feedback on whether or not that answer is correct, and then move forward. Okay, so on the more formative assessments, the questions that you're just getting as you go through the reading, you'll have multiple opportunities to answer those questions and get it right. Okay, on quizzes like this, the homeworks, which really do take the place of regular quizzes, it's more about testing whether you actually learned the material, so you're getting those wrong answers pretty quickly. Okay. There is a late policy that I have embedded on all of the assignments to where if you miss something or are just running a bit late during the week, you can still make up a lot of those points by submitting the assignment late. On the topic of deadlines, I'll go ahead and highlight here the daily planner that shows you what the learning objectives are for each section and when the assignments are due and what they are. Okay, so here's a kind of typical pair of weeks. Okay, you'll see that there's only one module per week starting each Monday. Okay, so the readiness reading and all of that is available ahead of time, at least a week ahead of time once everything gets rolling, and then the readiness reading and everything associated with the reading, so your textbook reading, is due by that Wednesday. Okay, so you can complete that early, you can complete it on Monday, you can complete it on Wednesday all the way up till midnight. Okay, and then everything else for the module, the quiz and homework mostly, is due by Sunday at the end of that week. Okay, so with the late deadlines, if you need to work on the readiness reading and questions later in the week, you can do so, but you're going to need to complete it before the homework is due. Okay, so all of those have a delay on their late policies so that you can complete them afterward if you need to. So you can see that here. 10% reduction on each incorrect attempt with the questions on the homeworks, and those are available and late, can be submitted late, a couple of days after the assignment. So this one, for example, is due on February 1st, and with the late policy, you have to turn it in by February 4th if you want any credit. Hopefully that has been an informative, if slightly longer than intended, overview of how the CODON learning system that we're using works. And there is honestly quite a lot more that you'll get and see as you go through and answer things well or incorrectly and need to review particular topics and start using the study paths and other tools. So if you have any questions about this, reach out to me or to the CODON learning team and we will take care of what you need.